Was Oumuamua a probe sent by an advanced alien civilization? Oumuamua might actually be sending signals to us, and I've got the evidence to back it up. Astronomers were excited to discover the interstellar object last year, which was named Oumuamua, a Hawaiian term for messenger or scout. On an apparently ordinary night, astronomers scanning the heavens with their powerful telescopes and sophisticated sensors witnessed something extraordinary. The same object that puzzled scientists in 2017 reappeared unexpectedly. It had previously fled our solar system at extraordinary speeds, and its velocity should have prevented its return. Yet, there it was again, slicing through the darkness of space towards Earth, and this time, it wasn't merely a flyby. Oumuamua was sending signals. Please remember to like and subscribe to our channel for future updates. The fact that Oumuamua was transmitting signals compounded the mystery of its reappearance. Astronomers who had tracked its initial flyby were astounded. How could what we assumed was a simple visitor from another star system suddenly begin acting like a functional spacecraft? And why now, after years of silence? The resurgence of Oumuamua sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Teams around the world rushed to recalibrate their instruments for a better look at the enigmatic object. Data from observatories soon made it clear that these were not mere random radio emissions or cosmic background noise. The signals were deliberate, structured, and unmistakably artificial. Initially dismissed as a strange cosmic event, perhaps an echo from a distant pulsar or quasar with an unusual alignment, as more data was gathered, it became clear that these signals were not random. The frequencies they were transmitted on were tightly focused, and their repetitive nature showed signs of intelligent design. It wasn't long before the realization struck. Oumuamua was attempting to communicate. Decoding the signals became the first priority. This was not the usual type of mystery scientists were prepared for, but experts from various fields pooled their resources and began the arduous task of deciphering the message. Was it a greeting, a warning, or something entirely different? As the public caught wind of these developments, conspiracy theories flourished on social media while scientists worked frantically behind the scenes. What was most intriguing about the transmissions was their precision. Oumuamua's signals didn't broadcast across the entire radio spectrum but were confined to a very specific range, far too narrow to be a natural phenomenon. Furthermore, the cadence of the signal suggested specific mathematical patterns, as if Oumuamua, or whatever controlled it, was waiting for us to realize that it wasn't just another celestial rock. It was a message sent directly to Earth, biding its time to reveal itself. Astronomers struggled to make sense of Oumuamua's sudden reappearance and its perplexing trajectory, which seemed to defy the basic laws of physics. When it first entered our solar system, Oumuamua exhibited an unusual acceleration that couldn't be explained solely by gravitational forces. Theories range from it being propelled by a solar sail powered by photons to the more exciting possibility that it was an alien probe. Now, with the object returning and sending signals, the latter theory didn't seem so far-fetched. Governments around the world were drawn into the mystery, with agencies including NASA, ESA, and private aerospace companies involved in the investigation. High-level meetings were conducted behind closed doors, and secrecy around the new findings tightened. Yet leaks inevitably occurred. It soon became apparent that some of the world's top cryptographers and linguists were analyzing the signals. This was no longer just a scientific puzzle. It had become a global issue. If Oumuamua was indeed trying to communicate, what would happen if we misunderstood the message? What if the signals were not meant as a friendly greeting? Some experts warned that we should be cautious before responding. In history, when one civilization encountered another, the outcome was not always peaceful. There was a pervasive fear that while we were eagerly unraveling the mysteries of the object, Oumuamua's return could portend something ominous. The excitement was palpable. For the first time in human history, we had encountered an object from another star system that was actively attempting to communicate with us. The stakes were high. If we succeeded in decoding the signals, we might unlock the key to faster-than-light travel, new energy sources, or even knowledge about the nature of the universe itself. The scientific community buzzed with optimism, dreaming of what we might learn. Yet alongside this optimism, darker possibilities loomed. Could this be the beginning of an invasion? or perhaps a reconnaissance mission preparing the way for something more. As the signals became clearer, scientists were able to discern patterns that suggested complex ideas, mathematical theorems, geometric structures, and even fragments of what could be a language. Yet nothing was definitive. The more they studied, the more elusive the message seemed, and the more alarming the discovery was made. Researchers focused on the object's emissions while astronomers tracking Oumuamua's movement realized that it was slowing down. This was not a natural deceleration caused by gravitational forces. The object was actively braking, altering its trajectory as if preparing for something. Oumuamua wasn't just passing by again. It was coming to a stop, and its new destination appeared to be Earth. This revelation changed everything. If Oumuamua was deliberately approaching Earth, then the implications were more immediate and dire than anyone had imagined. Theories shifted rapidly. Was this an attempt at first contact, or was something else at play? As Oumuamua neared, efforts to decode the signals intensified, and it became clear that multiple countries were racing not only to decipher the message, but also to prepare for Oumuamua's arrival. While the public was kept in the dark about much of what was happening, it was impossible to contain the growing unease as Oumuamua's approach became undeniable. Social media lit up with wild speculation. Some believed that we were on the cusp of a new era of enlightenment, while others were convinced that Oumuamua heralded the end of humanity. Rumors circulated that world governments were preparing secret defense initiatives, even as scientists argued that a peaceful approach would be the best course of action. Back in research labs and observatories, progress was being made, albeit slowly. The signals from Oumuamua, initially cryptic and seemingly random, began to show more coherence as new algorithms were applied to the data. Patterns emerged that seemed to indicate a countdown. But to what? Was Oumuamua simply preparing to land, or was something more drastic on the horizon? The scientific community was divided. Some argued that the countdown could signify nothing more than the object's arrival. After all, if it was an alien probe, it would make sense that it might send a final signal before making contact. Others, however, pointed to historical analogies, especially those involving contact between human civilizations, warning that the countdown might represent a time limit for action. If we didn't respond appropriately, or at all, the consequences could be dire. The scientific race to decipher Oumuamua's message intensified as more sophisticated algorithms were brought to bear on the problem. A consortium of the world's top researchers, astrophysicists, linguists, cryptographers, and mathematicians, worked in tandem, sharing data in real time through secure channels. The pressure mounted as the object grew closer, the window of time to understand and respond shrinking with each passing day. Every discovery brought a new layer of intrigue, each piece of the puzzle revealing just how complex and carefully orchestrated Oumuamua's communication had been. As more details of the signals became apparent, it was discovered that they carried not just a single message but multiple layers of information, as if designed for different levels of understanding. One part of the signal, which was relatively simple, seemed to be directed at establishing basic communication, akin to showing a greeting card to an unfamiliar guest. This layer contained universal concepts such as prime numbers, geometric shapes, and constants of physics that would be familiar to any advanced civilization. But beneath this lay much more complex information, the meaning of which was not immediately clear. The deeper layers of the signal were composed of intricate sequences, mathematical structures that seemed to encode data far beyond anything Earth scientists had ever encountered. This raised the stakes significantly. If Oumuamua was capable of transmitting such dense, multi-layered information, it suggested a level of technological sophistication that far outstripped our own. The implications were staggering. Could this information be a roadmap to advanced technology, perhaps a method for interstellar travel or a source of limitless energy? Such discoveries could potentially leapfrog human civilization centuries ahead of its current state. But equally, the knowledge contained in the signals could present dangers, new weapons or technologies that, in the wrong hands, could have catastrophic consequences. At the same time, a troubling realization began to take shape among some of the scientists involved. The complexity of the signal, and the fact that it was aimed specifically at Earth, suggested that whoever or whatever was behind Oumuamua had been observing us for quite some time. The signals appeared too tailored to our level of understanding to be the product of a random encounter. This raised disturbing questions about how long we had been under observation. Had Oumuamua been lingering in the outer reaches of the solar system, silently recording data before its dramatic reappearance? Some theorists began to speculate that Oumuamua's creators or operators had been monitoring humanity for thousands of years, waiting for the right moment to make contact. Perhaps our recent technological advancements, particularly our burgeoning space exploration capabilities, had triggered this event. Could Oumuamua be acting as an emissary, sent to assess whether humanity was ready to join a broader galactic community? Or was it here to test us, to see if we could decipher the signals and respond appropriately? If so, the implications were both thrilling and terrifying. What if this was a test to determine whether humanity was ready for a greater cosmic dialogue or even a form of interstellar diplomacy? The very idea that Oumuamua was gauging our level of technological and intellectual advancement set off a wave of speculation among scientists and the public alike. However, another, more unnerving thought took root among the scientific community. What if this was not a test, but rather a probe gathering data to decide how to interact with us, or even whether to interact at all? If Oumuamua was part of a larger network of probes spread across the galaxy, it could be serving as the eyes and ears of a far more advanced civilization. The notion that we had been under silent surveillance for years, perhaps even millennia, was unsettling. The implications of this realization were staggering. If Oumuamua's creators had been monitoring Earth, they would have observed our species' rapid technological progress, our conflicts, and our cultural evolution. They might be evaluating whether humanity posed a potential threat, was worth communicating with, or was simply another species to study. The countdown embedded in the signals might represent a deadline for humanity to respond, or it could be a timer for an impending event. The closer Oumuamua got, the more focused its signals became, as if adjusting its communication strategy. In response, scientists worked around the clock to interpret the increasingly intricate messages. The signals, layered with mathematical theorems, geometric structures, and symbols, hinted at knowledge that went far beyond human comprehension. It was as though Oumuamua's creators were challenging humanity to understand concepts that could potentially reshape our understanding of the universe. As scientists continued to decode the signal, they discovered references to physical constants and principles of physics that were consistent across the universe. This suggested that whoever sent these signals had a deep understanding of not just our world, but of the fundamental rules governing reality itself. Some researchers speculated that the signals might even contain advanced scientific knowledge or blueprints for new technologies. Could they be giving us the keys to faster-than-light travel, new sources of energy, or the secrets to manipulating space-time itself? But this hope was tempered by fear. There was a growing concern that if humanity failed to meet the expectations set by a far superior civilization, there could be serious consequences. The countdown could signify a time limit for humanity to decipher the message correctly, or face the unknown. Was it an invitation to join a galactic community, or a warning that our actions were being judged? And what if the countdown reached zero before we managed to respond in the right way? As the days passed and the clock ticked down, the tension across the globe grew. Governments, scientists, and the public were caught in a whirlwind of excitement, fear, and uncertainty. The sense that humanity was on the brink of an epical event, a moment that could redefine our place in the cosmos, hung heavy in the air. Then, reports began to emerge of strange phenomena coinciding with Oumuamua's approach. Observatories and radar systems detected anomalies in Earth's magnetic field. Unusual energy readings were picked up by deep space listening stations. More disturbingly, for the first time, signals from Oumuamua were being echoed back by unknown sources scattered across different points in space. These echoes were unlike anything previously encountered and appeared to originate from regions of space far beyond the reach of current technology. The signals were faint but unmistakably deliberate, responding to Oumuamua's transmissions with precision that could not be attributed to natural phenomena. It was as if Oumuamua's arrival had awakened something, or someone, else. This new development deepened the mystery. Was Oumuamua part of a larger network of probes, a system scattered throughout the galaxy? And if so, Who or what was now responding to its signals? The countdown continued to tick away, and with each passing moment, the sense of urgency intensified. The scientific community was torn between those advocating for further attempts at communication and those who feared that any response might provoke an unintended consequence. Meanwhile, governments worldwide prepared for every possible scenario, from a peaceful encounter to a potential threat. The world waited, collectively holding its breath, as Oumuamua drew ever closer. As the countdown entered its final hours, Oumuamua's signals shifted one last time, becoming even more complex and cryptic. It was clear that something significant was about to happen, but no one knew exactly what. The countdown raced toward zero, leaving humanity on the precipice of an unknown future. And then, in the final seconds, with the world watching and waiting, the countdown reached zero. For a few agonizing moments, there was only silence. Oumuamua, now hovering near Earth, seemed to pause, as if contemplating its next move. What happened next would change everything we thought we knew about the universe and our place within it. Then, with a brilliance that outshone the stars, Oumuamua erupted into a cascade of light. Its crystalline structure shimmered, refracting every color of the spectrum in an awe-inspiring display. It was as if the object had transformed into a beacon, sending streams of light in all directions. Observatories around the globe scrambled to record the spectacle, sensors frantically capturing every wavelength and particle emitted by this dazzling event. As the light show continued, radio telescopes detected a sudden burst of signals emanating from Oumuamua, each more intense and structured than before. However, instead of the previous countdown pattern, the signals now followed an entirely new sequence, one that seemed to align with the geometric and mathematical structures humanity had been struggling to decode. Scientists rushed to interpret the data streaming in, but the information was overwhelming, a flood of symbols, equations, and complex constructs. Meanwhile, something else began to occur. Across the world, the strange phenomena that had been previously reported intensified. Earth's magnetic field started fluctuating erratically, causing compasses to spin wildly. Unexplained lights filled the skies in regions far from city lights, and electrical grids experienced mysterious surges and disruptions. Those deep space echoes that had initially responded to Oumuamua's signals now became louder, clearer, and more synchronized with the object's light display. In a matter of moments, humanity found itself surrounded by mysteries on all fronts. And then, just as quickly as it had begun, Oumuamua's radiant show ceased. The light dimmed, the object returned to its previous dark, enigmatic form, and the signals quieted to a steady, soft pulse. The world held its breath as scientists pored over the data, trying to make sense of what had just occurred. Then, something even more unexpected happened. New shapes began to materialize around Oumuamua, forming intricate patterns in the sky. They were not physical objects, but projections, holograms composed of light and energy. The holographic structures rotated and shifted, revealing symbols, mathematical equations, and cosmic maps. The display appeared to be an attempt at communication, a message encoded in forms that transcended human language. The holograms depicted constellations, star systems, and intricate pathways weaving through the galaxy. Within these patterns, scientists recognized references to known cosmic events and phenomena, but there were also configurations that hinted at worlds and regions far beyond our current knowledge. Then, within the holographic projection, a familiar shape appeared. A spiral galaxy, not unlike our Milky Way. Lines and vectors stretched across its arms, connecting various points, with one line extending directly towards a small, highlighted, the location of our solar system. It was clear. Oumuamua was showing us the interconnectedness of the galaxy, the pathways that linked distant star systems, and our position within this vast cosmic network. The message was becoming clearer. It wasn't just a test or a warning. It was an invitation. The symbols and geometric patterns seemed to offer instructions, a guide to navigating these interstellar pathways, possibly even to the technology required for faster-than-light travel. This was a map, a road to the stars, laid out before humanity. But there was another layer to the message, one that filled scientists with a mix of awe and trepidation. Embedded within the projections was a sequence of symbols that corresponded to the signals previously sent from Earth to Oumuamua. It was a confirmation. We were not alone. The projections included representations of other civilizations, marked by symbols unique to each, scattered throughout the galaxy. Some were located along the pathways shown, suggesting that these civilizations had already navigated the stars using the same knowledge now being offered to humanity. As quickly as they had appeared, the holograms faded, leaving only the darkness of space and the silent form of Oumuamua. In its place, the object began to emit a steady, pulsing glow, reminiscent of a lighthouse beacon. The pulses seemed to be rhythmic, consistent, almost like a heartbeat. The message was clear. The beacon had been activated. Around the world, the realization dawned on scientists and governments alike. This was a momentous turning point in human history. The galaxy was not empty, and Oumuamua was a messenger, sent to share a message of cosmic unity and exploration. It had revealed a network of interstellar routes and the existence of other civilizations, some of which had presumably already traversed these cosmic highways. But this revelation came with a profound question. What would humanity do next? Would we embrace the knowledge Oumuamua had offered, seek to unlock the secrets of interstellar travel, and join a larger galactic community? Or would we retreat in fear, wary of what lay beyond the stars? As these questions lingered, Oumuamua began to move once more. Its crystalline structure rotated, aligning itself with the galactic plane. Then, with a final burst of light, it shot off into the darkness, accelerating rapidly until it vanished from view, leaving behind a silent, pulsing signal, a beacon pointing the way to the stars. In the wake of its departure, humanity was left with a choice: to follow the paths it had shown us, to explore the vast unknown, or to remain within the comfort of our world. The universe had reached out, offering a hand of guidance and an invitation to join a grander narrative of cosmic exploration. What lay ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The cosmos had just opened its door, and it was up to humanity to decide whether to step through.